Have you ever felt this strange pain where someone treats you like they care deeply and then suddenly acts like you don't exist at all? One day they listen to you, support you, protect you. The next day they are cold, distant, or even cruel. And the most confusing part is this: they act like nothing changed. You start asking yourself painful questions. Did I imagine their care? Was I too sensitive? Did I do something wrong? That confusion hurts more than open hate. And here is the important truth you need to hear first. This pain is not happening because you are weak, needy, or too emotional. It happens because your brain is built for something very different than theirs. Most people blame themselves in this situation. They think, if I were stronger, I wouldn't feel this. But this problem is not about strength. It is about how empathy works inside different human nervous systems. Some people experience empathy like a stable signal. Others experience it like a switch: on, off. On when it benefits them, off when it costs them something. And your pain comes from expecting a steady signal from a system that was never designed to be steady. To understand this clearly, we need to look at empathy from one single angle, a biological angle. No labels, no moral judgments, just how the brain is wired. Think of empathy like a power supply in the brain. In healthy systems, this power flows automatically. When someone else feels pain, the brain lights up areas connected to emotional understanding. The person may still choose bad behavior, but the emotional signal stays on. In toxic people, empathy is not broken, it is conditional. Their brain did not evolve to run empathy all the time. It evolved to conserve emotional energy and activate empathy only when it serves survival, control, or reward. Here is the metaphor that explains everything. Imagine empathy as a motion sensor light in a dark hallway. In your brain, the light is always on. It doesn't matter who walks by. Friend, stranger, enemy, the light stays on because your system believes safety comes from connection. You notice feelings automatically. You cannot unsee them. In a toxic person's brain, the light only turns on when they step into the hallway, when they need something, when they want admiration, when they want control, when there is something to gain. Once they leave that hallway, the light turns off. Complete darkness, no emotional memory, no lingering care. Not because they are pretending, but because the light literally shuts down. This is why their behavior feels so unreal to you. You assume the light stays on after the moment passes. They assume the light never existed once the moment is gone. This biological mismatch creates a dangerous illusion. When their empathy switch is on, they can look incredibly caring. They may say the right words, mirror your feelings perfectly, even protect you. Your brain registers this as proof. They care. I can trust this. But what you're actually seeing is a temporary activation, not a stable trait. And when the switch turns off, you experience emotional whiplash. Your brain keeps searching for the care that was there yesterday, but their system has already powered down. No guilt, no confusion, no internal conflict. To them, nothing is missing. This is why explanations never work. You try to remind them of how close you were, how much they seemed to care. You think, if I explain clearly, they will feel it again. But explanations don't turn on motion sensors. Presence does, benefit does, control does. Without those triggers, the empathy system stays off. Over time, this dynamic trains your nervous system into hypervigilance. You start watching their tone, their messages, their moods. You try to predict when the light will turn on again, and slowly, without noticing, your entire emotional world starts revolving around their switch. This is where shame creeps in. You think you are addicted, weak, dependent. But biologically, what is happening is very simple. Your brain is trying to stabilize an unstable signal, and the more unpredictable the signal, the harder your brain works. The toxic person is not confused by this dynamic. Their system feels normal to them. They experience empathy as something that appears and disappears naturally. They do not miss it when it's gone. You do, because your system remembers emotional continuity. This is why they can hurt you and sleep peacefully, and why you replay conversations at night trying to make sense of what changed. Nothing changed. The light just turned off. And here's the part most people never realize. Your pain is not proof that you are broken. It's proof that your empathy system is stable, consistent, always online. In the wrong environment, this feels like a weakness, but biologically, it's a high-functioning design placed in a low empathy environment. As long as you believe their on-switch moments represent the real them, your brain will keep waiting, hoping, explaining, enduring. because it's trying to restore a pattern that never truly existed. And once you see that, something very subtle begins to shift inside you. Not anger, not hatred, just clarity. The kind of clarity that stops you from standing in dark hallways waiting for motion that may never come. Once this clarity appears, something interesting happens in your body. The tension starts to drop, not because the situation is fixed, but because your brain stops fighting reality. You are no longer trying to force a hallway light to stay on when it was never designed to. You begin to understand that consistency is not something you can demand from a motion sensor. You either accept how it works, or you stop walking into that hallway. This is where real leverage quietly enters your life. When you stop explaining your pain to someone whose empathy is switched off, your nervous system slowly returns to balance. You no longer need constant reassurance. You no longer scan for signals. You no longer feel that sharp drop in your chest when warmth suddenly disappears. Not because you became colder, but because your brain stopped expecting warmth from a system that cannot provide it reliably. The toxic person often notices this change before you do. Not consciously, but they feel the loss of control. When you stop reacting, stop chasing, stop proving your pain, the motion sensor has nothing to respond to. No movement, no trigger. And strangely, this is often when they try to turn the light on again, not with accountability, but with just enough warmth to pull you back. This moment is important because this is where your identity matters. You are not someone who needs intermittent care. You are someone who needs emotional continuity. Your strength is not endurance. Your strength is depth. You are designed for environments where empathy flows without needing activation, where care does not disappear when it becomes inconvenient, where connection does not require performance. And once you truly understand this, you stop asking, "Why do they treat me this way?" And you start asking a quieter, more powerful question. Why am I still standing in this hallway? This question is not self-blame, it is self-respect waking up. You begin to notice something else too. In healthy environments, your empathy does not drain you, it energizes you. You listen without losing yourself. You care without anxiety. You give without fear. The problem was never your empathy. The problem was trying to pour it into a system that only absorbs when it benefits. And without forcing it, your behavior starts to change. You pause before sharing deeply. You observe consistency instead of intensity. You trust patterns more than promises. Not as rules, just as natural outcomes of understanding how systems work. This is the quiet power of seeing empathy as biology, not morality. You stop demonizing them, and you stop abandoning yourself. You don't need to confront. You don't need to educate. You don't need closure from someone whose light turns off when the hallway is empty. Closure comes from knowing that the darkness was never your fault. And here's the simplest truth to carry forward. If someone can turn care on and off without inner conflict, the care was never rooted in connection. It was rooted in condition. Your job is not to become less sensitive. Your job is to stop calling inconsistency love. So here's one small, concrete next step, just one. The next time someone shows sudden warmth after a period of cold, don't react immediately. Don't explain, don't lean in. Just notice. Give your nervous system time to observe the pattern. Consistency reveals truth faster than words ever will. That pause is not distance, it's clarity choosing you.